thewellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives. This is Up for a Chat with Cyndi O'Meara, Karen Smith, and Kim Morrison.
Here we are up for a chat about the hottest topics that are important to you, inspiring you to awaken the change within. I'm Cyndi O'Meara, and I'm sitting in Botswana in a place called Planet Baobab, and I'm with 8 amazing people that I've been travelling with for the last 2 weeks. We have travelled through Namibia, Zimbabwe and Botswana. We've done Fish River Canyon, Souffle, Victoria Falls, unbelievable adventures, looking at animals and the way they live in the wild, and taking ourselves on extreme adventures. So I thought it would be really cool if we did an Up for a Chat on what we've done, what we've experienced, why we're here, why did you all choose to be on this trip. So I'm going to start with Andrew. Now, Andrew, why did you come on this trip in the first place?
Because Talia, my wife, actually said she was going and she was leaving me at home whether I wanted to come or not. So, and I've been a follower of you, Cyndi. So, and you know, I thought we would travel with sort of like-minded people in their lifestyle choices. So, and we always wanted to see Africa. And being my 50th birthday recently, it was sort of a bit of a present to go along with that.
So how would you sum up this whole experience?
If I had to say it in one word, it'd be diversity. If you look at the people on the tour, where they've come in Australia, they're, I suppose you could say in some ways their lifestyles, and then also everything we've seen in our travels. You know, we've seen second largest canyon in the world, we've seen arid deserts, you know, the Delta, the Okavango Delta, Zambezi River. It's, you know, we've just about covered everything. So, yeah. If I had to say it in one word, I'd say diversity.
Did you find anything that we did arduous, challenging, wished you weren't there? Was there any point in the whole 2 weeks that you felt that way?
No, actually, I reckon it started really well because, you know, we did do a couple of long treks and, you know, some of us didn't really do a lot before we started the tour as far as getting ready physically for the treks. But, the first few we did with the hike into Fish River Canyon, which was 17 kilometres. A few blisters came from that one. And then at Souffle, 3 of us did the Big Daddy sand dune.
Which is the tallest sand dune in the world?
Yeah. And I think my camera showed it was over 300 metres in elevation of just soft sand. So that was fairly hard going. But, you know, it's like everything in life. You break it down into small bits and we made it to the top.
So what about the people you've been travelling with? Would you say they were a good crew?
Absolutely.
What else can you say? No pressure.
So, I think we've all gelled really well because, you know,
I would never have asked that question if we didn't.
Well, you can tell how well we've gelled because we've all spoke about our bowel movements and poo and because
we've had to listen to each other vomit.
Yes, yeah.
But no, it's been great. You know, we've all, like I said before, we have similar, I suppose, ways in which we like in our lifestyle and in how we eat. And then that sort of, I suppose, initial point that we all come together, and then the last 2 weeks we've all sort of grown together and you know had plenty of good laughs along the way.
Yeah, definitely. So you still have a couple of days. You're going to Cape Town with your beautiful wife, and then you go home to work.
Yeah, back home to Western Australia to a broadacre farm, which that might have surprised you, Cyndi. But you never know who's a fan and a follower of yourself. So, it's, we've been on a path for a few years and we've made a lot of gains, but we've still got a long way to go. And Talia and I are on a continual path of, educating ourselves through, in our own lifestyle, in my own business as an agricultural grain grower.
Yeah, well, I've learned a lot from you because I've asked you questions and because I want to understand broadacre farming because I think, you've been pushed into the way it's being done now, but where do you go from now? And we've had those conversations, what do we do? Where do we go? And, I look forward to seeing what you do in the next decade.
Yeah.
It'll be good. Be good. All right, Talia, who is the wife of Andrew. By the way, we have two males on this, which is, we had one, poor Jim. Jim's here today. Jim came with us to South America, but he didn't come to New Zealand. We only had females on this New Zealand trip, but we've had two wonderful males on this trip with us. So it's a little bit like we were in Botswana and went the Kwai, and there was 10 females and 2 males. Remember that? And I kept thinking, it's a little bit like us, isn't it? Except you're not as savage as those lions were, I must admit, and you allow us to eat. All right, Talia, what have you loved about this trip together? What was one of your favourite highlights?
I think the trip with everyone, we've just laughed our way through Africa, haven't we? I mean, we've all got to know each other really well, and no matter where we've gone, we've all just really bonded amazingly and have, the Australians where we just have loved the community that we've formed, plus the community outside with other members. We've learnt about other tourists that have come that have been around us, and we've embraced everyone, not just being very much within our own cell. So, and also learning about our guides and learning about the staff that are around us. I mean, just their whole, we forget because we are in such a fortunate country, and we forget just how hard they do it, but they love it and they smile and they embrace. They're so passionate about their country and they speak so highly about where they live. And you ask the guides where they've travelled to, most of them haven't travelled outside their own country, and they're happy with that. They just love where they've been. So let's talk about that more, because I noticed that you did a lot with really making sure that you knew the names of everybody, whether it was the cook, whether it was the guide. And I noticed that you took a lot of pictures. I know you love taking photos, but you took photos of them in their essence. So I felt like that you really did that a lot more than perhaps I did. I was really interested in asking people about their culture, where do they come from, especially when we were in Fish Canyon and the Himbas and Susuflé. I loved that. So did you speak to anybody about something that just blew you away about what they said or how they lived their life, or maybe Mama from the cook? Mama, we all got to know everyone, all our guides and the staff that are around us. And Mama had a beautiful story. She was a woman. I'm not actually quite sure. How old do you reckon she was? She was 40?
She wasn't that old.
She wasn't that old?
No. That old.
No, I don't think she was that old.
So she ended up being management in the company that she works, and then she has had two daughters that are at home, and her grandparents, her mum and dad actually look after her children, which are actually quite young. They're only 9 and
6, and I think she had 3 girls. Yeah.
So and that's an amazing thing that she's just come and she works on these camps for 3 months without seeing her babies, and she embraces everyone that comes in to the camp. Her actual name was Peggy Sue, but we all called her Mama because she just looked after everyone beautifully, and to be away from her family and to provide that have that income that supports her whole family structure just by looking after us, that's a big thing. I don't think a Western society, I mean, there are people that do it, but it's a really big thing for their culture and to better themselves and make sure their children have education, and they're just all so family structured.
What I found interesting is she was the only girl
yes.
in that whole camp. And there was 9 of us, and there were 10 team members, or 9 team members, was it? 9 or 10 team members. And she controlled those guys so well. And on our final night, I loved their harmony and their music and how they sang to us. And it was quite amazing. Quite amazing.
Although singing Waltz and Matilda back to them, I think we actually need to practice our singing skills and our harmony because we've got a lot to learn from their culture, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So, did you find anything a challenge? Did anything upset you, or did you find it challenging?
No, I was really nervous about coming to the trip. I kept on saying to Andrew all the time, oh my goodness, what happens if they don't like me, you know? And I was, just a whole different people that I was going to meet. I was very, very nervous, but I really stepped out of my comfort zone. I'm a real homebody. Although I do a lot of work for the community in my council work, I actually do like to be home. So to come to Africa and spend it with, I guess 8 other people that I had no idea who they were has been absolutely blissful, and I couldn't ask for better travelling companions. They've all been amazing. So.
Good. Now, one of the things you said, you're a counsellor, and one of the things that you said is that they do complain about their roads. Now, we drove between Moan, which is in the middle of Botswana, to where we are right now. And you took a photo and a video of how we had to drive this road.
Don't they call it the Botswana massage?
Yeah.
I just can't believe. And these potholes in these roads, like we asked them how long they've been there. They said 20 years. I mean, there's been no work on these roads at all. And swerving, and you were driving on the opposite lane with a truck coming, and you would just miss each other by swerving over these potholes. So I think, that we've got a lot to learn about we complain about the smallest things in life when there's so much more. So I think we all have a lot to learn with that. Yeah, and I will be showing it to my...
what I really have learnt, I think, is that we have all these things, and we seem to be so like megalomaniacs within our own community, and we don't look out and see how other people live. And, we've travelled in Botswana past mud huts where people live in these hot conditions or freezing conditions. And I think, when you took that photo of those potholes and I knew the complaints that you'd had, I just thought people just need to stop complaining, because Australia's they've got it pretty well done. Yeah.
Although Jim does get a bit worried when his beer's not cold. So
yes, he does, doesn't he? Yeah. Definitely.
Only Jim?
Only Jim. Maybe a few extra.
There's been a few complaints. Now, there was a surprise guest that we got, and I think most of us kind of knew a little bit about each other, but then we had a bombshell by the name of Christy come in. And now she's not talking to me. Christy came in as a result of a friend, Alison, who invited her because of circumstances, and we're so happy that you came, Christy, because you just brought a really different, vibe, you could say, to the group. Very, very different. And
sunshine.
She is. You're very refreshing, and it was wonderful. So when Alison rang you to ask you to come and come on this trip with us, did you say no?
No, I'm not mad. I just was like, yes. Well, I need to call you back. And I said, well, of course it's yes. It's absolutely yes. And I would love to. And thank you so much. And I'm so grateful and privileged. Yes. But I just need to check with my husband. And I'm not usually the type that needs to, quote unquote, check with the husband. But Phil and I got engaged in Africa. And we always said that the next time we come back to Africa, we're just going to bring our children back here. So this was a little bit of a curveball that I wasn't expecting. And he loves Africa so dearly. And I thought, I better just check. So he can kind of give me that little, kiss of approval and go off and do that. And he was very selfless. And he said, of course you can go. And he was fantastic about it. And so here I am.
So you've left behind 2 little kids, really?
Yes.
6 and 9?
Yes.
Because they are young.
Yep.
How have you coped in these last 2 weeks without having them around you?
With the nature of my work, since I kind of went back after having them shortly after, so like, you know, when they were sort of two years old, I've always travelled for work. So they always know that mum goes, but mum always comes back. And that's always what I say to them. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be gone for 4 days, or I'm going to be gone for 10 days sometimes. And they're like, oh, I don't want you to go. And I say, listen, what do I always say to you? And they say, Mummy always comes back.
Yeah.
And then I just bloody well make sure I come back.
Okay, so let's talk about bloody well wanting to come back. So how were the plane trips?
So, as I said, I travel a lot for work, but, you know, like, mosquito planes are not really something I've encountered before. You know, Rex Air makes these planes look like they're, you know, the new A380s. These things were so tiny and so old. I mean, they had a conventional handbrake. Everything was manual dials. I've never seen. It felt like we were in a Hercules that had been miniaturized. So I was a little nervous. Poor Jim on the first flight over Fish River Canyon where we had all of that turbulence. Oh my God, I was petrified. I was honestly, truly petrified, and I can't remember the last time I was that frightened.
What were you frightened of?
I was frightened that plane was going to drop out of the sky.
And what happened when we landed?
We crashed the plane. We crashed the goddamn plane. I mean, darling Lizelle made a beautiful, you know, approach to the landing, and then there was just a bush, and the bush and the wing somehow connected, and we lost the wing. Who loses a wing? Who loses a wing on our first flight when we have another 8 flights to go?
And that plane was meant to be with us.
That plane was supposed to be our plane. She was meant to be our pilot, and of course that we got a cascade of differences from there, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But yeah, that's definitely not a conventional experience, and probably not one any of us imagine we would experience coming into this.
And to learn gaffe.
And how did they fix the plane?
Well, having been to Africa before and seen how things get repaired on the road, I said they'd probably fly the engineer in and just sort of, just kind of weld it a little bit and then use a lot of gaffe tape. And Jim rightly corrected me and said, Chrissy, they won't be welding that because there won't be enough movement. But what we did see was them using a pot rivet gun and, yes, indeed, lots of 100-mile-an-hour tape, as my father calls it, or gaffe tape, which fixes anything. And clearly it does fix everything because they promptly got in that plane and flew it home and delivered us a new plane and a new pilot. And here entered the beautiful chief. And I think for all of us, that was a total blessing.
Yeah.
And we all learned a lot from him.
We did, about his life, his family,
his fierce independence and his curiosity for bettering himself. I don't think I've met anyone who has been so dedicated to improving themselves, and in areas where not natural, like to become a lifeguard and to become a sea rescue person and to get his pilot's license. And
he's 23.
He's 23. I think he was just... I know. There was no limits for him, and I don't think he had approached life with limits in mind. He was just... felt like life was going to be bountiful for him, and he could... Well, this is Africa. It was like almost, this is Africa, anything's possible.
And our last flight, as the pilot came up to introduce, so we lost Chief because Chief only stayed in Namibia, and then we went across to Zimbabwe, and then we came into a very small airstrip, and we had a very confident pilot, but he didn't come and pick us up from that. So what did you say to the young lady as you shook her hand? This is a pilot.
Oh, let's all face it, we're a bit sad to miss cool Dudley.
Yeah, we were, definitely. Dudley was gorgeous. Yeah. So what'd you say to her?
Well, I couldn't quite see her at first because you were all crowding around her, probably with your jaws dropping already, and I didn't really pick up on that. And as you all stepped away, I just saw this child standing there, and I thought, maybe she's coming with us. Maybe we've got a +1. That's okay. We take all times. Let's go. And then I realised she was wearing the high-vis jacket, and then someone said, because they don't wear uniforms here, they don't have all the wings and stuff like we had in Namibia. And then one of you said, "This is our pilot." And I just couldn't help it. I was mesmerised by her, and my mind and my eyes and my mouth all disassembled, and my mouth just said, "How old are you? Are you 12? And she was beautiful, and she was childlike, and she was gorgeous, and she was just divine. But she was so incredibly youthful looking. I just thought, no. Just no. My life is worth something, and I don't think that I can hand that responsibility to you as a child. In Australia, you wouldn't be off your P plates. You can't drive after, 10 o'clock or whatever. You can't drive with your friends after midnight. You can't break 80 Ks, and here she is flying me across the desert. No. Not happening.
And what did she say to you?
Nothing.
Well, what she said to us, "I'll tell you when we land."
She did.
Which she did.
Yes.
And she was 20.
She was 20.
And very capable.
She was so frail, though. Do you remember when we're hitting those air pockets and her little bird-like beautiful arms were like battling and struggling? We're going over the Okavanga Delta. There's nothing but lush grasslands and water all the way down, and she's just battling left to right, right to left. But we made it, and she made a very elegant landing.
So after flying as much as we've flown, because, we'll let everybody know, we had a private plane, we had our own pilot. We flew everywhere so we could see as much as what we wanted to see. After doing all that we've done and understanding a little bit more about flying, is your fear of flying in one of those, what did you call it? Mosquitoes. Yeah. Has it changed?
I think so. I think the other thing was, before we met Chief, we didn't know anything about... Listen, I've been through Africa where they really do stick things together with duct tape, and truly we've seen that ourselves. So you don't really know... I mean, Australia is such a, regulated country. And we just know that it is. You take that for granted as a part of your DNA. If you're going to get into a plane, it's had these things. The pilots have had these hours. The engineers have had these number of things. When you come to Africa, you don't take any of that for granted.
So one of the things that I know that we've been talking about is that you want to do a change in your life. You want to create change. Has Africa helped at all?
I think it's created a little bit of space. And I think it certainly reminds you that the things that you get caught up in, two parents working, Sydney environment, mortgage requiring two parents, holding on to this idea of I need to have this property to have this amount of leverage, and that whole struggle, I think I'm really ready to let that go. And as much as the financial planner just says, just hold on a little bit longer, I just feel like, screw that. I've got kids that have gone from little babies to 6 to 9. It's now.
Yeah, it's I think coming to countries like this and seeing how other people live and realising that we have it all in Australia and probably more than we'll ever need, it really does, change your perspective. I know it's
hard
changed
because
mine.
I think the things that you're used to having in Australia are becoming so expensive that you get caught in this thing about not wanting to let your lifestyle slip away from you, and you think, I worked bloody hard for this. But you're not having to work too hard now. Living in Sydney and having a decent lifestyle is only for the rich and famous. You can't be, I don't know, it's not enough. And that's the feeling that you get. And I'm not enough. How can I be more to make it happen?
We always seem to get this when we do the podcast. So I'll let Christy just take that in, unless you have something else you'd really love to say.
I think just the curiosity that we've all had by being here, it's been really fun to explore that. Down all sorts of little paths with the people, asking them, getting to really ask them about them. I found that really fun, to take the time to ask about other people.
Thank you. Now I'm going to go to Debbie, because Debbie and I have been on every one, haven't we?
We have.
We have been on every one. And
Travelling, hiking, world touring buddies now.
We are.
Up to 3.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm still hoping you'll come to Switzerland.
I have to talk to Jim about
Yeah,
that.
well, I'll have to have a talk to Jim about that one.
Switzerland has cold beer for sure.
He's in. He's in.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, Deb, I don't know really what to ask you because we have done these three together and I think we've learned a lot about each other and we've learned a lot about the countries that we've gone to. So I guess the best thing to do is ask, how did you enjoy this African adventure?
Oh, I've loved it. I think it's been so many different things to do. That we've just done so many extremely different things. But the thing that sticks in my mind as far as me and a bit of growth, I guess, is that I've done some things and put myself out of my comfort zone. Like that first hike down that bloody rope down into that canyon and looking at it and I'm thinking, my dad would kill me if he saw me doing this. Like one slip and you're gone. They put the fear of God into you. There's no way out. Like if you injure yourself, you have to be so careful not to slip on a rock and it could happen so easily. In the blink of an eye, I could see my life changing if I wasn't just so careful. So I was really glad to finish that hike. It was a great hike and had a great day. And also the plane thing. Like, I've not said much about the planes, but before I came, I didn't really think about it too much with those little planes. And it wasn't until a few days before we left, I started when I read the itinerary again, I started having a think and I thought, I don't think I'd do that if it wasn't already organised. I don't think I would have done that. But okay, I've got to roll with it now and I'm with Jim, so I feel safe. I always think when I'm with Jim, I feel safe no matter what happens. I don't know why. That's just a thing in my head. And yeah, those little things have been a bit of a tick for me. But yeah, it's just been great meeting everyone else. On these trips, you make amazing friends and I think they become lifelong friends. You might not see them that often, but, you know, from Peru and New Zealand, the friendships you make and you always share that bond and it never goes away. And that's what I love about it because you just get to experience new people and meet people from all over Australia that I know you've got buddies you can go and visit when you go to those states or new friendships, and it's something that I will treasure is the friendships. And yeah, and doing it with Jim, of course, is great. I'm so pleased he's here. You know, we had a great time in Peru, but having Andrew here's been such a bonus for me because I'm off the hook. I'm not in trouble for Jim being the only male. And it's been really good that Jim and Andrew have both been similar kind of guys that have just got on, been easygoing, helped where needed and just been the rocks for us all, really. So that's been really nice. Yeah.
So what was, I know we've done a lot, but what was your favourite thing that we did?
I just think being out amongst those animals, being an animal lover, just observing them in nature without really any human interference has been amazing. And I just sort of had those pinch me moments when, you know, just with the zebras, when I first saw them in Namibia, I just thought that was amazing. But then it just got better as we got to Botswana, to the safari and just watching those animals and you know what it's like, you can just watch them forever. And like they say, there's always something different to observe out there, and I think that's the highlight. That's a highlight for me, as well as every time I'm travelling with you, Cyndi, I just learn so much more, and I just go home and I think, wow, I've learned so much more from about health, and not just health, not just mental, not just health as in what you eat, but the whole health package. And this has got to be part of the health package. This whole trip is, you know, I think it just gives you a different perspective on everything when you come away on these trips. And when they're, particularly Peru and this one, with, I mean, they are very different. It's totally different to, and being sick, that's not always easy in another country when you've got the vomiting bug. But anyway, we all sort of had something.
So let's talk about that, actually, because we all got something, whether it be vomiting, diarrhea, sore stomach, constipation. We all got something. We all know about each other's ailments. But we were in a tent.
Yes.
When most of us got, and we weren't well. We were in a tent situation, so with holes in the ground for toilets. And I have to tell you that you were all amazing troopers. Because I kept thinking, oh gosh, this is the worst place to get sick. You know, Susafle Desert Lodge would have been far better, which was, of course, the luxuries of luxuries. But we were in, a situation where we weren't allowed out of our tents until they called us because of all wild animals. And you laid in that hot tent, like it's freezing at night, and you laid in that hot tent, and quite a few of you did. So how did you cope? What did you do to cope?
I think I just felt so sick that I just couldn't do anything else other than that, and get the cool face washer on over my forehead and just lay there and just really just try and sleep through it. I think I just told my body, sleep through it, sleep through it, sleep through it, and drink. And I've never been so parched in all my life as I was that night after I'd been sick. I think I woke up and my whole mouth was completely dry. I couldn't even move my tongue. I thought it was going to crack, like off. It was just so bad. And even putting the water on it felt disgusting. But I think you just had to lay there and just think, sleep, sleep, sleep. That's the best thing for you. And I really felt like I think I was a bit delirious at some stage, because I remember murmuring something and thinking, where am I and what? But anyway, you got through it. You got through it. And then didn't it feel great when you felt better? Oh, yeah, that was amazing. When you felt better, that was like, woohoo. Yeah, so that was good.
So then the next day we saw some remarkable things. How did you feel about watching two animals that had been alive just minutes before being devoured by the lions? I remember we passed a group of young people who were saying they were really upset by the whole ordeal. How did you feel about it?
It didn't really bother me because the animals were dead, and if I had seen them being brought down, I think I would have got upset if they were suffering. But then you've also got to switch it and say that's just natural and it's a circle of life, so you can't really be getting upset about it. Like if I see a dog get hit on the road or a kitten mistreated, that makes me cry. When I see those things on Facebook, I cry at the computer. But something in the wild like that's totally natural, it's just how it's got to be. You can't feel anything different, I don't think. I mean, you don't want to see any animal suffer, but I think from what I learned with those kills, that they're pretty quick, most of them, which is good. That's nature's way of doing it the right way. So, yeah.
It's fun watching those two boys fight for the
the meat. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and that
my
was
gosh.
really interesting, that whole lion thing. And I think what we learned off the guides was just fascinating. It fascinated me. Everything they said about the animals, I was like just fascinated. So, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, great sunsets after that. And,
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that you want to add? That I haven't asked you the question, but you want to say it.
No, just that if you can get a chance to come on one of these trips, come on it, because you will never regret it. It'll be something you'll just remember and love forever. So do it if you can. Yeah.
And we do like to create challenges. And I have to admit that, the plains were challenges enough, but so was Fish Canyon, getting down that rope section. And even in the heat, it was hard work,
It was hard
work doing all that.
Yeah.
But also, we had travel times that were hot. Like last night, we went out to the salt plains and slept out there in the, just out in the middle of a salt plain with basically nothing on us but our bedding. That's it. We had no tents, nothing but the open sky. So we try and always create challenges. So the next trip will be definitely a challenge. I think we're doing 160K in 10 days. So it will be fun. All right. Penelope. So when we first arrived, this is Penny, but her name is Penelope, but everyone calls her Penelope. I know, I have it good now. I've all got it good. Anyway, Penelope, how was your experience? What was your highlight?
Oh, that's unfair. There were so many.
Well, was it the marriage you had?
Oh, God.
Or was it the boyfriend that you had? Or what else did we have, guys? We sold her off.
With some
How many giraffes was I with?
Yeah.
4 or 5 giraffes. He was really hot too. He was gorgeous.
Which one?
The one at the campsite, our guide's cousin.
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Wolverines. Yeah, we had you all. So let me just let everybody know. Penny is the youngest. She's just 30. That's it. You're 30. She's the only one that wasn't married or with a partner. So it was like we just we were really mean, weren't we? Selling you to everybody, promising you to everyone.
There's got to be someone to have a joke with every now and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was good fun. I went on a date and I got Charles and Andrew to be the third wheel and approve of or disapprove of.
He was gorgeous.
So we're all approving?
Oh, absolutely.
Are we going to let him listen to this? No. No, we won't. Just don't tell the boy that that we've got you recorded. So
highlight. That's where we want to go?
Yeah, I think so.
It's what just stands out to me now is probably climbing that Big Daddy sand dune with Jim and Andrew. That was pretty hard. Like, I'm pretty fit, but that was just hard.
1 step up, 10 down.
Yeah. But not just the hardness physically, but then what also made it a highlight was just how spectacular that was as a piece of nature. Like, to see all of those dunes from the top, like, it was just incredible. And yeah, it's just undescribable. Just the way that they flow, it's just so beautiful. The way they, you know, how you talk about these rolling green hills in England. This was just rolling beautiful red sand dunes as far as the eye can see. It was just stunning. And then coming down was hilariously fun. And I just wish it was as quick to... No, I don't wish it was as quick to go up. But yeah, it was great fun. But I think then also the people, having met all of you guys was just another massive highlight. It's always when I travel, it's always the people I meet and the relationships I form, I think, that usually end up being the highlight.
And you've travelled a lot, and I've listened to your tales. I just love them, you know, when I was here, when I was there. And it seems like it's the people that you meet. And I agree with you. It is the relationships you form. And it's what you see, but your memory is often what that person said or didn't say, or the feeling it gave you.
Or the time you shared together, the meal you had, the laughs that were had, the plane wings that were broken off, the commentary to all of the animal sightings. Yeah. So
as a 30-year-old coming on a trip that we're a little bit older than you are, no problems there? You didn't feel like...
No. I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit of an old soul. Like, I have a lot of older friends and my family members, and also in my previous career in engineering, I worked with a lot of older people as well, and I don't know, I think once you get to a certain age, it doesn't really matter. Like, I didn't even really notice much of an age difference, and sharing with Michelle as well was just...
youngest and the oldest.
Yeah, but it didn't seem like we're just mates. Yeah. Handing each other buckets when we were vomiting. And,
As you can see, we all got very close. Definitely. Anything that you want to say that I haven't asked you a question about? I just have this feeling you've got something to say, and I don't know what.
I'm not sure what it is either. I think more than anything, the trip has made me extremely grateful for what I have in Australia, and for just a bloody hot shower with running water. You just take it for granted. And even and a comfy bed that I can stretch out fully in, because I'm a bit taller, and sometimes I can't stretch all the way out. And to be a little bit more relaxed about, things like when it comes to we were all, in situations particularly along the way with food that we're not used to having, but, just sucking it up and enjoying the food with each other. And
So Penny's a nutritionist now. So she finished with engineering and became a nutritionist and is forging your way in Brisbane in changing people and helping them, make a difference. So let's ask that question about food. When we didn't have the food that we're so used to, how did it make you feel? Like, were you peeved off? Were you just adapted? What did you do?
It's funny. I was actually a lot more relaxed than I expected to be. Like, having come from a background of an eating disorder, and having remembered, like, the feelings when, I was not the one in control of my food. I was like, I wonder how this will go. But I knew that I was with people who were in such like-mindedness around food, and it was totally okay. And I was in a different culture as well, and so happy to be experiencing their hospitality. Vorvadans, when they were saying the menu and she was acting out the chicken and it was so lovely. And it was like, I'll eat whatever you're giving me. Just bring it on. So, yeah, I think.
So what'd you think of Vorvadans?
Vorvadan was amazing. Oh my God. It was freezing.
Cold.
Yeah, it was freezing. But the lodge that we stayed at the edge of those dunes there was just stunning. And then going on that bushman walk and learning about that white lady spider was just incredible. And then going down into the village to see where all the stuff, because the lodge we stayed at was one of, I think, 4 that they ran in the area, and then all the staff kind of lived and trained in the village down at the bottom of the dunes, and that's where all the washing was done for all the 4 lodges and things like that. But such a respectable business to be set up in that way, super sustainable kind of eco lodge where they had 85% of their power came from solar. They had bore water for all their water. They had their own farming, which provided a large amount of what they provided in the restaurants of their lodges. And they also took on, I think they said there was about 80 staff amongst all the lodges, and then they also had 20 students where they were training students up to work in the lodges in hospitality and service. It was just amazing.
I agree. I just thought what they were doing, and we were in a desert, and they were growing food and had water and solar and everything. Like, I'm with you. I thought Vorvadans was a pretty amazing place to go to.
Oh, and they were building, because when you're in Africa, you usually should be drinking, mostly you're drinking bottled water. And they're trying to move away from plastic bottles, but at the moment they're collecting all the plastic bottles they use for their drinking water and they're filling them with sand and building houses out of them for accommodation for their staff and students. It's amazing.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, it was good.
And apparently they're the most well-insulated houses in the village there.
Yeah, I'm going to start collecting not that we use plastic water bottles, but just go and collect them from rubbish bins and see if we can build a house on the farm. Hold this space.
Either that or artwork, I reckon.
Yeah. It was interesting, wasn't it? It was really interesting. All right. Now I'm going to go to your roommate, Michelle, because Michelle, I'm just moving around, guys. We're actually outside. It's 6 o'clock at night. It's still warm. Where the sun's going down. It's absolutely beautiful. It's very orange. This will be this is our last sunset in Africa. And the sunrises and the sunsets have been absolutely amazing. So, Michelle, when I suggested that maybe coming to Africa might be something that someone might want to do, Michelle put her hand up and just went for it. And let's talk about your experience and how you're feeling about what we've done. Let's start with your favourite. I know that's mean. I know it's mean, but let's start with your favourite experience.
There's just so many. You really can't. Probably the most memorable would be overcoming the fear that who knows where it came from, of small mosquitoes.
Planes.
Christy so wonderfully puts it. And because I put my hand up to say, yes, I'm going, without even considering any of that stuff. And then I got the information and didn't bother reading it because it was so far away. And then when I started reading it, I'm like, oh, dear. But
What have I done?
Well, whatever. I'll deal with that when it comes. And, it was, and we discussed that in this community. I don't know. Everybody wasn't necessarily involved in the discussion, but there was certainly a conversation around that. And for me, especially the awe of seeing the sort of things that we've seen here was, and I think Alison put it really well when she talked about our insignificance in the scheme of things. We, Alison, Talia and I made a choice not to go down the 3 kilometre straight sheer wall. You know, that's all about knowing your limitations, and I think that's really important. But we had a bit of a moment on a cliff and looking at this amazing country. It was awe-inspiring. And, so for me, with the flights, it was very much around actually, I don't even know when I became frightened of little planes and stuff like that. I have no idea why or when. And I came to the conclusion that it was just an imagination. Who knows when? And this stuff's real, and what we experienced was real, and the fear was just, it wasn't real. And once I had that through the conversation, once I had that, epiphany, I suppose, there was no fear in any of it. And then I just wanted to go over Victoria Falls not over literally, but fly over Victoria Falls on the helicopter, because I'd never been in a helicopter before, because they always scared the crap out of me too. So for me, that's the most memorable, and knowing that, you know, the importance of reflecting on stuff, and is it real or not? You know, is that real, or is it? We just need to let go of a lot of
and Penny came up with a really good, what was the acronym for fear?
Oh, yeah.
False evidence appearing real.
False evidence appearing real.
Which nails it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And as soon as you said that to me, you went, well, that's not real. But what we saw was real, because those flights were phenomenal, especially over Namibia. Not so much, I think, Botswana, because Botswana is so flat, although we did see lots of elephants from the air and
that's still better than being in a truck.
Oh, yeah. We've had that in the last couple of days. We've downgraded.
We were spoiled.
We've been in a truck. Yeah, we have been. So tell me about how you experienced Africa. I felt like, I'm going to tell you what I think you experienced, with absolute joy.
Oh, yeah.
With whatever comes along, I'm going to take it. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to experience the light. Did I get that right?
Yeah. Well, you're only here once. Well, that you know of.
Yeah, true.
And, so it was just, I would love to come back. Whether I can come back or not is another matter. But while I'm here, I'm going to take everything I can get. And, you know, to do it in this company, with the people here, and just learning their stories, and, you know, the generosity, the guys helping out. You know, there were times on some of those tough hikes where it was like, no, go ahead, because I don't want to hold you up. But there are other times, yes, happy to take your hand, thank you. So, no, it was just awesome. It was really good.
And you had another first this morning. You rode a four-wheeler for the first time.
I did. Yes, I did. Someone put that thought in my head. Thank you very much, Alison. And I hopped on, and I was fine on the salt pans. Bit wobbly, but that was okay. And you were very brave, actually. I wouldn't have been on the back with me. There's no way.
Well, I knew we could only flip and go one way backward.
Yeah.
Someone would be there to pick us up.
So I was really happy to do that on the salt. That was great. But once we started to get near the meerkats and we were on the in the lumpy bits and everything, I was like, I think my skill has, I've reached the Peter principle. I actually need to get off and let someone know who knows what they're doing do this. So that was awesome.
So one of the things you really wanted to see were the meerkats.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Oh, they were so gorgeous and so tiny and fragile, which we learnt was because the whole community disappeared 12 months or so ago. But they were just beautiful, and their constant chirping and their little busyness, and they're digging away looking for their scorpions and their bugs. Yeah, they were beautiful. They were just gorgeous.
So
but
you
every animal...
Every boxes.
Look, this exceeded every expectation I had. I was trying to manage expectations and do if we get to see something, that'll be pretty good. Just so that I wouldn't have a level of disappointment, but it was just exceeded at every... We'd turn around a corner and there's a pride of lions, and there's the cubs, and there's the leopard, and there's, it was just unbelievable. It was just amazing.
And your sunsets?
Yeah, well,
You took the best photos.
Michelle took the best.
She did take the best photos, didn't she?
Well, we haven't seen a lot of the photos, have we?
No.
But
I reckon between us we've probably taken thousands and thousands. Yeah.
I can't wait to go through them all.
I know. I look forward to it too. Anything you'd like to say that I haven't asked you the question about that you want our Up for a Chat listeners to know? And it can be anything.
Oh, I just think sometimes when you know instinctually that you really want to do something and you want to put your hand up to do it, just do it.
Thank you. All right. We have two more. Jim, you're next. Jim didn't want to go first, and I don't think he wants to go last or in the middle, but anyway, we're going to talk about it. So how was your experience in Africa?
It was good. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh.
Yeah, just I think it was one that I wasn't really that keen. It just wasn't on my bucket list at the moment, but it was been really good. Yeah.
Oh, good. What was your best part of it?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me this, but...
You've had long enough to think about it.
Yeah, there's a whole lot, really. Probably with Penny with the dune, going up there in the dune and seeing the different colours you see, and they said he'd be constantly changing those colours. The amount of different animals we saw over the 3 days on the safari. It was all very good. Yeah.
Anything you'd like to... Because this is a man of few words. He doesn't say a lot, does he, Deb?
3 sayings.
Huh?
3 sayings.
Yeah. Yes, we have 3 sayings. They are, number 1, saying, nothing to see here, move along.
It's got to do with shopping.
That's shopping.
Yeah.
Number 2, it's closed, I think.
Yep.
That's to do with shopping. And we've had nowhere to shop, though. You've just preempted
I think
everything.
that's why he's had it better than
I think that's probably it. Yeah, there is nowhere to shop where we have been. And always, if I ask, what's the time, you say 1:30.
Yeah.
With everything. And what time were you doing that? That'll be 1:30. So, yes, you've been the comedian on the crew.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. So the souffle.
Souffle was nice.
Yeah.
That would have been nice to stay there another night.
We all thought that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Souffle Desert Lodge.
And I think the tour around the village in the Wolvedons, that was we went down to where they were pumping the water from the wells and looking at that sort of thing, and and their power generation and all that sort of interested me as well. So and just having a look at what they're doing there is quite amazing, really.
Yeah. Definitely. What I think is really good, because you came to South America with us and you were the only male on the trip. I did feel for you, but it was so good having Andrew here. I bet, it just makes it so much different. So I guess what I'd love to say is that, this is not just a women's trip. Whatever we do, this is about the men coming too. And I think it brings a different element. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me, but it brings a different element to the trip. Now, whether what's good and what's bad, that's not what it is. It's just a different element to the trip. So I want to thank you for being, and I also want to thank you for being such a help in so many ways. Like you two, Andrew and you, with tips. So the tip system here is crazy. The only money we have spent is on tips. I think very little has been spent anywhere else but on tips.
And we've had 4 currencies.
Yes, and we've had all those currencies. So, it was good when you guys took control and said, right, this is what we're tipping, this is what we're doing. So,
it's good.
So thank you.
Yeah, that was it.
Am I going to get any more out of him, Deb, do you think? What questions do you think we should ask?
On those dune buggies and getting up to 58. He was very proud of that.
Yes, when it was governed at 50 and we're on the sand dunes or on the salt flats and you got it to 58, I don't know how you did that. Nobody else could do it.
No one saw it, but that's the problem. And because Deb wasn't looking, she was just hiding.
We're too busy eating dust.
Dust and salt. Dust and salt it was.
Quietly competitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
He really enjoyed flinging across that house, but I just knew he was loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit different. That was good. Yeah. As I said, there was a lot of good things on the trip, so it was, everything, really. Yeah.
I know that this is probably a question you may not answer, but with the experiences that you experienced and the people that we've met and everything, would you change anything in your life after this?
In what way do you think? Anything.
Just anything. Would you change the way you think about something, the way you do something?
I might start reading the packets on the cashews.
We did something, Deb. We did something. So Deb thought she picked up, and it looked like a packet of cashews. Who's got the packet with them at the moment?
In the bin.
It's in the bin. They were in the bin. Anyway, this is how you completely, how did everyone say it, screw up a good packet of cashews. I think there were about 15 ingredients in it.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, wait till you see that photo.
Photographed the...
It just, like how to screw up a completely good packet of cashews, although you did like them.
They did taste good. Yeah.
So if that's the one thing that you're going to do different, I'm wrapped.
Yeah.
Deb.
Yay!
Yes, we did it. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
I'm happy with that. All right, last but not least is Alison.
Hi.
And yes, and Alison, why did you come on this trip?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. Look, I've always wanted to come to Africa. It's been a bucket list item for well over 10 years. I've always felt drawn to it. My beautiful partner bought me a ticket as a gift, which was just phenomenal. She did not want to come, and this was the right crew for me to go with. And eventually bought herself a ticket, and life circumstances change, and we were no longer together, and hence Christy came. And I came. So it was certainly it's been a turning point in my life, this trip. Yeah.
Good. Tell me about the drumming. So I think that was a pretty special night that, I just think sometimes things are put in our way for us to experience something. And you had already experienced the drumming, but we hadn't. And our beautiful guide at Wolverdon's just happened to have enough drums for all of us to drum. Yep. So
It's by magic.
it was like magic. It really was. It really was. Because you've been talking about drumming and what it does for you. And this is African drumming, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's djembe drumming, where you do drum in a circle as a group. And there's usually one lead. And so I've been doing it for a little while on the sunny coast and really enjoying it and getting a lot out of it. Both physically, mentally and spiritually, and your coordination. It covers everything. And so when he pulled out a drum, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to play a djembe in Africa. You couldn't hold me back. And I think he saw the joy that it brought me. I saw the joy it was bringing him. He loved the fact that he had a group of people that were willing to give it a shot. And he brought back 10 djembes for us to play around the fire that night. I took a little while getting ready that evening, and I was standing with Christy outside her room and went, oh, they've started drumming. I got really excited. I said, hey, they're sounding really good. And we walked, it's a fair distance over to where the fire is, and as we're walking, I'm thinking, And as we got closer, Christy's just gone, that sounds terrible. It was woeful. Oh, the poor guy. But, you guys actually gave it a really good crack and got some great rhythms in the end. It was fantastic to hear the transition and the smiling faces. That's what made it. And that's when
a highlight, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
And that's when I told you what the meaning of djembe was. The meaning of the word djembe is joy, because it knows no black, it knows no white, it knows no good, it knows no bad. It knows no wealth, it knows no poverty. It knows no good player, it knows no bad player. It only knows the joy of the person playing at the time. And that's all it cares about. And that is exactly what was happening with all of us. So it was beautiful. Yeah.
And then we had the opportunity where we were in Zimbabwe and we went to a dinner where there was a drumming session and they pulled you away and they went drumming with you somewhere. I didn't find where you went, but yeah, what was that experience like?
It was interesting. There was just a drum sitting on its own and Christy went, play it. And I went, no, because I'm feeling really shy. She went, just play it. So I just started playing it, just doing my own thing. And this guy came out, running out of nowhere, and said, come. And I thought, am I tempting fate here? I'm just following a strange African man down a dark alleyway in this strange place. He said, come drum with us. And it was incredible.
And you followed.
I followed. I'm trusting like that. It was incredible to play the drum with two other guys. There were 3 dancers, 1 vocalist, and the harmony that they were producing was just out of this world. And I was part of that for a good 10 minutes. It was just magic. I don't think I've ever felt so alive in my life. And as I walked away, absolutely, I was shedding tears of joy. It was just incredible. Most blissful experience of my life. Yeah.
And you know what I loved is when then the whole drumming started on the stage, and then we all got up and started to dance.
The Tribal Girls.
It was, it was an amazing feeling to just bounce with those drums and dance with those drums and then...
It's joy and it's trance.
Yeah.
It puts you in a very meditative state, but also a very joyous state. Yeah, it's very unique.
What about when we went with the Kalahari Bush people and we made fire?
Yeah, white man not so good.
White girl, we did
White
well.
Girl. We got a fire. We did awesome.
Going.
We did high five. We got a fire going with 2 sticks. That was a pretty special moment for me. To go down the woo-woo, I've been here before. There's just no doubt about it. And walking through with those people, everything they were saying was just familiar, down to the medicines. The white sage for a headache, where they'd cut little slits on the side of their heads and in the forehead and the back of the neck and put the burnt sage ash into those holes, and that would be it. There's no more headache ever for the rest of your life. It just felt right. I'm not about to go around cutting people's heads, but it just felt right.
Well, that old lady, the older lady, she wasn't an old lady, but the older lady, she showed us where those cuts were.
So I was having a very spiritual moment throughout that walk, throughout the whole thing. And so when the opportunity was given to make a fire, you and I were like, straight in there.
And
Debbie gave us, Debbie was in there pretty fast too. And the 3 of us, absolutely, from 2 sticks and a little bit of zebra poo. Poo comes up everywhere here, really does.
Yep.
There's a little bit of warm ash that comes from the 2 sticks. I always thought it would be a spark, but it's some warm ash that falls and it starts smoking, you blow on it, fire. So it's pretty cool to know you can create fire from nothing. Amazing. Yeah,
it definitely was. We didn't walk up Susuflé.
No.
Because we were given an incredible opportunity to do a bit of archaeology.
Yeah.
And so you, Christy, and I chose not to walk up Susuflé with everybody, but we went on this archaeological expedition. What did you experience through that? I know you were going to tell me, and maybe this isn't the time because it might be an hour topic, but just give us a hint of your experience when we were walking around, where we know people were walking, they've still got, the huts were still there, the buildings were still there, everything was still there.
I could feel everything. It's an area that has snakes and scorpions, and I needed to be barefoot on the ground. I literally spoke through my heart to the animals that were around and said, I'm not going to hurt you and I'm safe, and I truly believed I was. And people are going to think I'm in Fruit Loop, and I think the staff at the resort did. But as we started walking up and we saw paintings that were, 6,000-7,000 minimum years old, and there were paintings of the shaman who was saying this direction is protected. And the movement I had within me was phenomenal. As we started climbing up and we found crystals in the ground that were actually, what you buy in the shop. There was red jasper, there was calcite, there were so many crystals. It was incredible. It was a geological expedition as well. And as we got to the top and saw the little I suppose they were houses that they once lived in. Bless Christy, because she took yourself and Paul, who was guiding us, and herself away so I could have 10 minutes on my own in silence. About the only 10 minutes of silence the entire trip, I might add. Radio Cyndi FM. Wow. I sat down and, to probably overshare a little, I've been an apprentice shaman for 12 months now. And I found my place. I found my voice. I found my song. I sang to the mountains. I could feel the people that used to live there, and I know they were my tribe. I could feel the mountains. I could feel the animals out there. It was like I was talking to them through my heart the entire time I was sitting there. It's very hard to put into words what I experienced up there, but that's absolutely why I came to Africa. Mm-hmm. And I knew something was coming. I didn't expect it to be there. I really wanted to go to those sand dunes. They looked amazing. But also at the bottom, if you'd told me I was walking to the top of that mountain, no. My fear of heights disappeared. As we were coming down, it was like, I've walked these paths before. It's a sheer drop over the side every now and then, and it was pretty rocky, rough terrain. There was just no fear. Mm-hmm. I was quite invincible at the time too, just in a sense of knowing. Very hard to explain.
Yeah. And the guide Paul, of all places, he's from Kenilworth, which is, minutes from your house and minutes from mine, basically, as far as the world goes. But, he was a fascinating character in himself. And I'm going to actually interview him on Up for Chat, so we won't speak about him now. But he was pretty incredible.
I cannot wait to catch up with him when he gets back.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what about if I talk about what I loved the most? I love being with all of you. I have, I've been friends with some of you for a while, but I've met some new friends, and this has been the most incredible group. I never saw any tenseness. There was only help from all of you. I heard little every now and then, oh my God, do we have to go that far? All right, it's fine. Oh, now we're here. It's fabulous. So, I heard those little ones, but apart from that, you have just been the most amazing group, and I am just so blessed that I got to experience every single second with you and what we have experienced together, and I'll never forget this, And last night, watching those stars, we get excited about little things. I felt like we were 9 kids playing for, we had some responsibility, but not a lot. So I just, I feel very blessed, and I feel like you, Alison. I feel that I'm drawn to this place. There's a reason why I love it so much, and especially Namibia. Namibia is definitely where I feel like I belong, and I love to go there. And it's something about those mountains, those sand hills, those canyons, I don't know. I never thought that a place like Namibia would be where I felt at home, because I love mountains and I love snow and I love green grass.
And the ocean.
Yeah, and the ocean. And basically, it's desert, sandy. So I guess for me, it was about being with you guys. And learning about you and understanding why you were here, what you were doing in your lives, what places you are in your life, watching absolute strength. Michelle, your strength to me is just mind-blowing. Nothing upset you 1 minute. You never complained about one thing, and neither did any of you. But I just noticed Michelle, she did what she needed to do in order to get there. And you are the oldest. You're in your 60s. I'm telling everybody,
That's right.
And you are, and you just managed.
But I couldn't do it without these guys and the generosity of everybody.
Yes.
And Penny as my roommate.
I think that was a bit serendipitous that we were in the rooms together.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so grateful for you. I really am.
Yeah, it's been a good trip. So we won't go on and be soppy, because we could be soppy for ages, a whole lot of us. But what I would encourage people is to come on these trips with us. In November, we're doing 3 Capes. Next year, we're all talking about we'll probably do some sort of walking somewhere. We haven't decided where, but in 2020, we're doing 160 kilometres around Mont Blanc. There are only 5 positions left for that. We've got 10 gone. There's only 15 going. So 10 are gone and we have 5 left. So if you're interested, please go to karensmith.com/ I have no idea.
Google it.
What, I can't even remember. Awaken the Change. I'm up for a chat. No, it's up for a chat. karensmith.com/ up for a chat, and you will see what we're doing in 2020. But I feel like, as Karen always finishes off, I don't ever finish and I don't ever start these things, but as Karen always finishes off, let's be part of the ripple effect that's changing the world. Bye for now. We'll see you on the ride.
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/TheWellnessCouch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives. Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavored to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.